Oh yeah, it's cold again. What are we doing here? I know we make fun of Knoxville weather all the time for being crazy and back and forth and stuff, but this might be the worst dogwood winter I can remember, or blackberry spring. I don't know. I get confused on all these names. Almost Agreement at gmail.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Special thanks to my friends at Special Events for getting us to move our date, because we would have been tomorrow if we would have gotten our original date for Holaroo. It got moved back to May 17th. That's been the set date since we announced it officially. But the original plan was for tomorrow, and it was going to be cold and rainy tomorrow, so lucky us, we don't have to be in the cold rainy day. So anyway, holaroo.co, check that out, almostagreement.com, almostagreement at gmail.com if you want to shoot us an email, tell us how stupid we are. State session is starting to wrap up, so we'll talk a little bit about stuff going on there. We got some local news, of course, to cover. Almost an Agreement on your favorite podcast about any of those things. Like, friend, follow, share, text us to your friends, do what you can do to the sports show. We're going to keep doing our show, keep talking to people. And then I think here in a couple weeks I'll start working on some city candidates once we get past Holaroo. Anyway, we're going to do a show, a little short tonight, but we're going to have a good time, so here we go. I attacked my drink a little bit strong there.
Oopsie.
So,
extra bite.
Yeah, it's delicious. Hi, Fran. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm good. What's new with you?
Oh, not much.
Good. I paid my taxes.
Yay!
Hoorah!
Hoorah!
I got a couple more taxes I have to pay, since I don't have just one tax to pay. But the big bad IRS has been staved off for one more year. So here's to my accountant for helping me out.
To the number crunchers.
Yeah, to the number crunchers. So, yeah, I mean, it was a pretty busy local week if you were going to get right down to the brass tacks of it. I think the biggest story of the week is the Clayton Family Science Center.
Yeah, I just read that today.
Yeah, it was announced this morning or last night.
I don't remember. Had we ever talked about that? I don't remember
that
ever being in discussion, but maybe I just blanked it.
We talked a little bit. I mean, it was pre-pandemic. It was like 2018 when the whole deal went through. Clayton, whatever, bought the old KPD building for $1 from the city.
They decided to move that long ago?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
They bought it for $1, and KPD paid rent at $1 a year for the couple of years they were still in there. The Clayton family did pay for the demolishing, and so if you've been out there recently, it's flattened, it's gone.
That's why I read that they were going to hand it over after they finished grading it or something.
But basically whatever the agreement was is now defunct because Clayton Families is not going ahead with the project.
Yeah.
And so
it's all the statement from the mayor.
Right, the city has taken it back, and a bunch of people are disappointed. Well, of course we're disappointed. That would have been a cool amenity to have.
Right.
It's just one of those, like, I don't know. I don't know. We still haven't given been given a reason other than they're just done.
Right. I would assume building costs, but maybe.
Yeah.
That's just postulation.
I mean, it definitely got pushed back because it was supposed to start getting real work done during the pandemic, and that threw everything off, and then here we are. So new Civic, everybody. Let's start the drive. Let's get us a new Civic. We need a Burleson or a Boyd, not a Boyd. Boyd's busy with his baseball thing. I mean, multi-use thing. I guess
bring back the Haslams.
Yeah, let's get a Haslam that's now that they've paid off all their Ohio legislators and stuff that they needed to. Let's bring some of that slush fund money back in to Knoxville where it belongs. I don't know. Maybe we could hit up the Berkshire Hathaway people. They're our new.
The new owners. Yeah.
They're the new owners of Haslam World. So
right.
If we want Haslam money, we don't want Haslam's money. We want the money that the thing they created does, which is Pilot, which is a Berkshire Hathaway product. So I'll get what's his face on the phone and see if we can work something out.
Yeah.
He's trying to figure out ways to invest right now. Buffett. I don't know why. I always blank on his name.
Yeah.
Warren Buffett. I'll call Warren. I got his number. I'll text him real quick. We'll see what's up. So I mean it's a big story in the sense that like that's one of those things that anybody who like I don't remember where Amelia specifically was, but there was a camp of people that were like calling bullshit when this deal was going in place because this is what's going to happen.
Really?
Now, whether they could say they were right or not, yes, technically they were right, I guess. But at the same time, like the factors that went into play, we don't know. We haven't gotten an explanation yet, so we don't know. And even if we do get an explanation, you could still say that there's, they're blowing smoke to try to save their butts or whatever, depending on what the explanation is. But, at least at some level, they could at least claim some sort of righteousness of being like, I told you they fucked it. Why are we giving all these things to the rich guys? It's like, well, but it's also for downtown real estate, it's a huge piece of land with nothing on it.
Oh yeah.
So my prediction is in the next couple of years, they're going to have a big box apartment building there. Get ready, Knoxville.
It's very possible.
I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing either.
And there's already a good bit of apartments around it.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be the worst thing to to have a nice big. It'll be a luxury.
Add to student housing.
Don't say that to me. That was my joke to Scott. So tomorrow, when
would you not agree that there's a need for it?
There's need for housing. Period.
Right.
I don't give a fuck about student housing.
I'm thinking of location based. If we can keep all the students down there, maybe we can ease up the pressure on the rest of Knoxville.
Yeah, but they're not. That's not down there. That's not even. That's on the other side of the city proper from campus.
It's closer than it is to here.
I don't know about that. Not by much.
Yeah, depending.
I mean, it's closer, but not significantly closer.
Right.
It's more accessible because of James White and all the infrastructure that is downtown.
Okay, I mean,
and
hell,
bus
you could ride a bike
systems
all the way there.
right, bus systems and stuff like that. I could ride a bike to campus from here.
Could,
get on the Greenway. I'm going to bring my gun, but I'll go to the Greenway and get down there. That was Brandon. Brandon was the one telling us the story about how he carries in his bike now. This is a while ago. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So that thing's happening. I don't know. I made a joke to Scott on his show. I was like, UT will probably buy it. Put some new whatever there.
Well, you think they would have bought the other one that was already freestanding, unless they want to use it for some other
or whatever.
And I guess they could put some kind of UT building there.
Yeah,
move a different
science
center or something.
Well, they've got like the art and architecture's in the other old southern There's some parts. There's some stuff that's going on in the old Southern Railway building, right there across from all the train tracks from the old city. So like you're in the old city, and then there's all the train tracks, and then where the mill and mine is.
Yeah,
like right across the mill and mine is that white long building. Mm-hmm. It's the Southern Railway. It's the old Southern Railway terminal or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
UT is renting that right now for some classes. So apparently student mobility is something that UT likes, so you might be right. They might put a new dorm complex over there. We need a new Civic. Let's just stop the guy like that. We need a new Civic. I'm not talking. We don't need a Bridgestone, but like legitimately, the Ice Bears are the only team in the IHL whose home rink is not official size for the league. It is smaller than any other rink in the league. It is. They have an exception to the rules to host games there.
I think they're ECHL.
Whatever.
I could be wrong.
The league of right. semi pro hockey.
And I haven't followed them a while. I think last I looked, they weren't doing that well. Like I think if we had a better team, which it may be due to.
Well, we did. They had like 3 or 4 years not that long ago where they were winning. They were winning championships.
Yeah, but I think that was like 10 years ago, maybe.
I don't think. Anyway, whatever. Right. But I mean, it's like. But the conversation about a new Civic's been going on since like the early aughts.
Right.
I mean, that building was built in like 70 something. It's outlived its intent.
I'm in agreement with you. I would love to see a better auditorium and a better
or we can just figure out how to put
in there.
We can figure out how to put a hockey rink in that new baseball field. I'm good with it.
It's been done. The science is there
all the time. That'd be super expensive.
Yeah,
that'd be super.
You could do the fake ice.
Yeah,
well, no, that wouldn't be regulation.
Maybe. But I remember saying that when the baseball stadium funding conversation and all that kind of crap was starting. It's like I would rather have a new Civic.
Right.
I'm not opposed to having this baseball stadium, but if we're going to spend this level of public dollars on it, I'd rather have a new Civic. We get more use out of it. Little birdie told me.
I wonder if there's, I guess, like the kind of the needed arena or like event space really for the amount of events we have coming in. And there's a good bit of venues down there for music, arts, etc. Between our different theaters, the Tennessee Theater, BSU.
Sure. I mean, the thing, like arenas are funky in that there are certain things, like there's a certain threshold of size where a performer will come through there.
Right.
Like there's comedians that are doing arena tuners now, but that's part of the problem with the Civic is the Civic Coliseum side at least is, I think it's smaller capacity than the Tennessee Theater is.
Is it? Yeah.
So,
I'm
like,
not sure.
when you get a name like a Segura or something like that, they play the Tennessee Theater. They could play Thompson if they wanted to. But maybe not Segura, but Bert could. Bert could do either. You know,
Maybe.
Bert did he finish his arena tour? He was doing an arena tour where he played Madison Square Garden and stuff like that. Kill Tony did Madison Square Garden. Apparently, they're doing Kill Tony on Netflix. Heard about that?
I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if it gets a little softened for being on Netflix, because that is a hardcore comedy show.
Yeah, I can't say I really care for it.
It's not really
There's some good
format
guests
I like.
on there every once in a while. But.
I mean, it's an interesting little roast thing. Then, I think it's cool for like the format is cool because it gives no names real chances.
Right? Yeah. I do
And
appreciate for that.
there are a couple people that have come out of Kill Tony that are now big deals.
Mm-hmm.
And would they have gotten there eventually anyway? Yes. Yeah. But would they be where they are now? No. It'd be 5-10 years out of their career before they get to where they are now because of Kill Tony.
I think it's up there as like the number one like live broadcast weekly podcast or something in some kind of category.
Yeah. It's a neat format. It's not my jam, I agree with you, but it's a neat format, and I do like that they do some up and coming stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to the point at hand. You know, like that's the problem I think with what we have currently is the Civic as a venue, unless it's a format specific that you need that in the round that the Coliseum quote gives.
Right.
Unless it's format specific, if it's an artist, a band, comedian, whatever, you might as well play the Tennessee Theater. It's going to sound better. It's going to look better, and it's the same capacity.
So you're thinking redo it as just an arena and not do, as they have now, the arena and auditorium together?
I don't like the auditorium, personally.
Okay. I've only been there once or twice.
I've been there. Decent. It's not bad. It's just, I don't know. Like again, it doesn't. It's
not special. It's plain auditorium,
right? And it doesn't do any. I don't think it's a net positive to the venue scene in Knoxville, for lack of a better word. Like we have this range of venues.
Right. That's what I was saying. That I think it'd be a hard kind of ask of the city. They're like, you want to redo that? Like, what all do we have going on there? Like, don't we have this, and this?
Right. I mean, I think the target is like, I think the target be like we do this. Like we've got the Bassmasters coming back. It would be a great venue. It would be a great venue for the weigh-ins and the public part of the Bassmaster.
They couldn't do the weigh-ins there.
Why not?
You need a large arena for it. That's Thompson Bowling, because they literally drive trucks into it, like on their boat trailers.
The current
for
one,
the weigh-ins, right?
The current one you could not. I agree. If we had a new Civic built that was big enough, you're asking what could we do in the Civic if we rebuilt it? Well, if it was bigger, we could do that there.
I think capacity-wise, it would have to be semi-close to Thompson, at least like 3/4.
I think
there's a lot of people that show up for the weigh-in.
I would like it to be as big or bigger than Thompson, personally.
Okay.
I don't think Thompson should.
Well, I think that's an even bigger ask. Like, hey, we want to do an arena, and we want to make it bigger than Thompson.
Well,
Bowling.
it's a big ask because UT will say no, and they will flex. UT will flex their nuts and make it so.
Like, but Food City just signed on.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm saying, I think that's. I truly believe, and you could have people that know the truth tell me otherwise, and I'm still probably going to full conspiracy theory. I truly believe that in all of the history of talks of a new Civic, if anything gets remotely serious, UT is shutting it down and has shut it down historically.
It's possible.
You know, any mayor, Ruggiero or whatever, it's just, you know, kind of just looking into it, talking about it. I it's hard for me to imagine that somebody from UT is like, hey, we don't think that's a good idea.
They own Thompson Bowling?
Huh?
Do they own Thompson Bowling? I'm assuming the city gives them money, I guess, to lease it for the games or something. But
no, the university owns.
They own Thompson Bowling, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's university property. That's state of Tennessee property, whatever you want to look at it. That's why it looks so funky, because there's no. They didn't have, like, campus does not have. UT property does not have to follow code or anything in the for City of Knoxville standards.
Yeah. Well, that has been added on a few times.
Yeah. I mean, it's not ugly, but it's just boring.
It's like, we need a basketball practice place. Like, let's throw it on the next to it.
Right. It's a boring looking facility from the outside.
Yeah.
You know,
it looks okay from a couple angles,
but that prime piece of property right there across the street from the river and all that kind of stuff, and it's just like a brownish box. Yeah, I mean, hell, I'd rather have like that red brick architecture that is all over campus right there than
Yeah.
that weird aluminum box that we have for. Anyway,
I guess I never thought about them actually owning that building.
Clayton's out. Let's put a new Civic in that takes that whole block, and
Bingo, bango, bongo.
and
done.
that's it. Maybe put some casinos in. Good call. I like it. Let's put a casino in too.
That's it.
I don't know. It just
Oh, okay.
that bingo, bango, bongo made me think of some sort of casino something.
Yeah, I don't think they'd allow it in the city.
The gambling part?
Yeah.
Yeah, the state would have to. The state would have to change. We'd have to have some change in state law. But yeah, let's do like.
I'm not sure what Kingsport did, or Bristol. But is that in? I don't know if that's on the Virginia side or not.
Yeah, it's on. It's not in Tennessee.
Okay.
I promise. Yeah, it would have to be. Yeah, we would have. There would have to be some a significant change in state law for a casino. But like the old.
As much sports gambling as we do, you'd think they're warming up to it.
Yeah. Well, like it's been a hot in the news cycle sports gambling this week.
How's that?
I've just seen a number of different stories pop up as of late. A local WBAR story, as well as NBC Nightly ran a story about some dude who ran up a bunch of debt and killed himself or something like that.
No. I think I did see when it got down to like the final two or whatever of people's brackets that it was down to like one AI model, and there was like a couple guys that still had like a live bracket.
Yeah. Or a perfect bracket.
Perfect bracket, yeah.
But it kind of like watching that nightly news story about this kid that ran up. Like, I mean, he placed like a $10,000 wager on a football game or something like that. It's like, okay, you got a serious fucking problem dropping $10,000 on a game. I mean, I take that back. Like, I'm sure there's characters out there like Dana White or whatever who will drop $10,000 on a game, but he can afford $10,000.
Right.
He's also apparently a notorious gambler, but he likes to play the blackjack.
Phil Mickelson, I think, was like in the news like a year or two ago about some like big major bets that he was doing all the time.
But like, I thought of you watching this story because right now we've got this crazy tariff and all this stuff, and we've got the stock market hitting the skids real hard because of all this craziness that's going on at the federal level, and it's so like
dollars down.
I'm not sure. Right, it is. I'm not trying to make light of this kid that killed himself with his gambling problem, but like if you go back through the history of U.S. market crashes, suicide rates go up.
Yeah,
and it's just like, so it's not. It's like a direct parallel. You lose a lot in gambling, you kill yourself. You lose a lot in the stock market, you kill yourself. So your joke that you like to do all the time is rich man's gambling. It's just kind of that little circular thing kind of happened in my head, and I was like, see, I get it. I see how those things are comparable. Wasn't a pro. I'm not pro it. I'm just saying it lended to your argument of the gambling aspect that is the stock market.
Yeah. Well, I think even you even pointed out a lot that most of the stock market essentially company valuation, and then you get into like. I've heard more about the bond market, which I'm still trying to learn a little bit about, but apparently it hit really bad, and apparently that's a bigger sign of like
right. And that's one of the things they were talking about that
affects like I guess like your credit card rates, your borrowing rates,
right. And there was I think Ryan was talking about it on Breaking Points this week, maybe I don't know. Anyway, they were talking about it on Breaking Points. Apparently that is not an uncommon economic strategy. Is if you can, what's the word? Normally, when
voodoo economics,
when the stock market is struggling, a lot of people are selling out of stocks and going into bonds. When a lot of people start going into bonds, the value of the bonds goes up, but the rate return goes down.
Right.
So when the U.S. federal government is reissuing bonds for debt, the value of the bonds is up, the rate is down, meaning it's cheaper for the government to sell those bonds.
Yeah, usually I think I've heard that it kind of balances out like the rest of the stock market as well.
Right, and so the idea theoretically, I don't know if I'm going to give the Trump administration credit for thinking this through this way, but the idea would be you crash the market, everybody clears the stock markets, goes into bonds. When they go into bonds, the value of the bonds go up, the rates go down. The federal government reissues new bonds like they do every year. They're going to have high-value bonds with low interest rates. And when that resets the debt for the next cycle, it's cheaper to pay that debt off over time because it's a higher value lower yield bond.
Maybe, but I don't think it happens in any kind of speed whatsoever.
Well, that's the thing, is that so it's not happening
That's
this time.
where they talk about, I guess like the 10-year bond is what I've heard is kind of like a good metric of, if you're looking at, I guess, like the stability and interest rates and whatnot.
Right.
Is what the 10-year bond is at.
But basically the idea is that this could be a weird way to try to lower the financial burden of the federal government.
Yeah, but I mean, also, if you have, other countries or investors that are looking at investing into the American market, buying bonds, if you look at an unstable market,
sure,
that's not a good place
right,
to.
That's the reality of what's
put
happening.
Your money
right.
for 10 years.
That's the reality of what's happening this time, which is the anomaly that Ryan was talking about. It's like normally, you go back historically and you see some of these big sell-offs. A lot of those sell-offs, that new liquid cash is going immediately into bonds, but it's not going there this time. And so, if that was the strategy from the White House, the bet failed.
No.
Anyway, whatever. Civic. I don't know how we got up there.
Oh, you had the idea about rich man's gambling.
That was your idea.
All right, so you were reminded of my analogy.
I get it. I think the only thing to me that I think the real issue to me, and I'd be curious what the rules are in Vegas. Like, you can't go up to the cage in Vegas with a credit card and say, "Give me $1,000 in chips." I feel like it's a cash transaction, or it's at least a debit transaction.
I think you can.
Really?
Because because you could essentially go up to an ATM and do the same thing. I guess maybe not directly at the cage, but the few times I've been to a casino, pretty sure I could use a credit card at the ATM just to take out cash.
Well, yeah, if it's an ATM, it's an ATM. But
so I think if they would have that, unless they just don't want to do that transactional fee
with
or
a credit card, that is the worst thing to do.
Right, but I mean,
that is
you're at the casino gambling and you need money.
On a credit card is the worst. Anyway,
yeah.
Like that to me with the online specifically that Tennessee has, it's legal. I think that's the biggest mistake in it. It's like that's
what I've heard. We're one of the few states that I think it's actually illegal in the state, but we don't really regulate it, or maybe I heard that we actually allow credit cards to be used on gambling websites or gambling apps, whatever.
I mean, you got you have to for them to be viable. Like, you can't have an online store that doesn't take credit cards. You got to get in there with PayPal or something. I'm not opposed to it.
Debit card or some kind of PayPal, some kind of like direct thing, so you're not actually taking credit, right? Essentially,
yeah. I mean, I agree. I agree with that. I think that's the issue. But I think
most states have a requirement on that I'm assuming it's for the benefit of the populace.
I think the inverse, though, too, is the inverse is that, like, I think there's some onus here on the credit card companies for issuing money that, I mean, that's great. I don't understand how it works. I do understand how it works. I know exactly how it works, actually.
I mean, they take the risk, but they can also sell that off to
sure
debt collectors, basically.
But they don't make their money off of
but they've made enough money off everything else.
Right. They make a little bit of money off your late fees and your interest payments, but they make their real money off of you just physically using it. So the trick here, if we want to screw the system and see what happens, is just everybody stop paying your credit cards off and see what happens.
Well, I think they make a good bit off of interest of people just making minimum payments. Because I would say a good bit of people can only afford to make
but
just
the
barely
transaction.
above.
The transaction fees are where it's at. That's
I
where
guess, I mean, I haven't seen numbers, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Like we don't do ungodly sums in an annual. We do. I don't know. As a percentage of our sales, it's more than I want it to be. But I think we figure I got our tax forms from the credit card company this year. We, in credit card processing fees, we paid over $60,000 last year.
Bam.
And so, for those uneducated about how it works, is you use your credit card at my business, a percentage of that transaction is taken by the credit card company. So if you come in and spend $100, $3 or more of that goes to Visa, MasterCard, and then the processor, what's the one down in Maryville? There's a couple. There's two. God, what's it called? Anyway, we have a couple of processing centers here in Knoxville County and Blount County There's one not in Maryville on Chapman Highway right before you get out of Knox County going south.
Credit card collection center or something?
Yeah, it's a processing center. And so all the little back and forth, like you called the dispute, whether you call your dispute your claim with the place or with your credit card company, your Capital One Visa that you have in your pocket, you see a charge in there that wasn't yours, you say, hey, this wasn't me. Right, the call center is here in Knoxville.
Gotcha.
I don't know if it's Capital One per se, but there's a call center. Because then it goes into the back where it's trying to figure out, well, was this a mischarge? Was there a mistake? Was this fraudulent by the business that ran the card? Was this fraudulent by some other person who did it? Or is this person being fraudulent because they did make that charge and they're just claiming they didn't?
They're disputed, yeah.
Right. But those people are here in Knoxville.
Gotcha.
There's an office. Well, there's two. There's one in the old... no, that's Comcast now. Both of them are on Chapman Highway, I'm thinking of. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But so, point being is that they make millions of dollars a day off of their 2 or 3% little chunk that they take every time you run your card. That's where they make their money. And if you pay your bills a little bit late, they make a little extra. And
you're talking about just like the 4 major ones,
yeah,
themselves, yeah,
yeah. Their main. That's their main. Like that. I think the way it was described to me by somebody who knows better is that's their break even. Anything else is bonus cash. So, like, to actually do what they do, that's all paid for there. So then their actual income is off of interest. Blah, 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 blah. Like, their actual profits are that side of it.
Fun.
Yeah. Well, it's not. I mean, what do I say all the time? Incentives are all that matters. And so if there's incentives, their incentive is to keep you paying, but late, they'll make it so. Which means that it's in their best interest to keep issuing you credit. Because they keep issuing you more credit, you keep running the card. And you keep paying as much as you can. And every time you pay as much as you can, only a little bit that's actually going towards the bottom line. But you keep running that card for the next thing you have to buy because that's the only way you can buy anything anymore. So they're getting 2 or 3% every time you run that card. And you don't see it because you're the user of it, but it's in the price of what you pay for.
Now you can get some cash back. That makes it feel like you're getting some cash back.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
3% cash back.
That's why you get 1.5% cash back, or 1% cash back, or whatever. Because that's how they screw. I mean, they're not giving you more cash back than they're getting in their cut on the other side. So
I don't know. That's what I'm mocking.
I know. I just think it
sounds good.
I mean, to me,
that's what I've seen casinos do as well. To where you go into most casinos, you pretty much have to sign up for their rewards as a member or whatever, so they can kind of keep track of you.
Yeah.
But they're able to kind of monitor that. Because if you frequent it enough, they know what your average spending limit is, like when you normally get up and walk away.
Right.
To where they will literally like come out and give you like another like $100 gift card. If they see you hitting your limit and they're like, oh, Seth's getting ready to leave. Yep. This is about the time he gets up and leave. Like, let's go give him $50.
Let's see if we can keep him at the table for a little bit longer.
Yep. Because they've already got, $8,000 from you, but here's $50.
Right. It's dirty, but I mean, I think the way credit cards work, just in the regardless of the gambling side of it, just in the general for the general population, I think it's almost criminal that the public doesn't understand how they work.
It's true.
Like, it is like it's starting to become normalized. We were looking at doing it. Like, I got my oil change the other day. And then they're like, it's $70. I'm like, God damn! I remember when you get oil change for like $25. But it's like $70 cash or debit, or it's $73.50 if you want to use your card. I was like, well, I didn't know that, but I don't only have a card, so. But basically, it actually the law changed a couple of years ago that allows retailers, to basically charge the customer a processing fee.
Yeah.
And it's starting to become a little bit more normal, especially on your higher dollar stuff. But it's starting to work its way down, and so I think you're going to start seeing it everywhere. I've seen it in a few restaurants and stuff like that now. And so the nice part about it is it takes that out of the pricing. I don't have to add that 3 to 5% to my margin.
Yeah, another good possible bonus that I am fine with is to encourage people to actually keep cash more often.
Yeah, I would love people to go back to cash. The interesting part, and I think this is the incentives thing at play, is I think the U.S. government would prefer a cashless model.
Yeah.
I just think
speed things up and it's easier to monitor.
Right. I think that's That's the main part, is the easier to monitor bit that they like. And so they would prefer a cashless society. And it's like, okay, well, if you want to make that so, give me a way to do it without paying extra. Because I'd love to go back to cash. That's one of my goals this year, is to try to get us off the credit card teat.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I went to the ATM the other day, got out $100, and actually gave me a $100 bill.
Yeah.
Like, wow. I was like, I've never gotten.
I've seen that. Yeah. One of the ATMs.
Like, wait, what's that? They spit out one bill. I'm like, oh, that's a Benjamin. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah. One of my banks, it asks you what kind of bills you want.
Yeah, I think I've seen that a couple
$200
times.
And it was like, do you want 105s, or 100 and 520s, or do you want 200s, or do you want 100 and 250s? Didn't have $2 bills as an option. But
That's bull.
No. We had our other bank. Like I don't know. I've never tried. Max likes to, when he goes out of the country, he likes to take $2 bills with him. Mm-hmm. That's how he likes to tip like bar staff and stuff when he's in the resorts and stuff like that.
Right.
He thinks it's funny, and apparently they think it's pretty neat. And so he had to order $2 bills from our bank. So I went in there to get some change for regular business doings. Wherever he's like, hey, Max ordered $200 in $2 bills a couple weeks ago, and he hasn't come to get them yet. And I was like, give them to me. And so,
did they have a band on and everything?
Yeah, it was 250 count $2 bill bands.
Huh.
So $200 bands of $2 bills.
Did you look at any of the issue dates or anything?
I threw them in an envelope, threw them in the safe, and told them it was it.
So I've ever seen a couple, and I was like, I didn't think they were still producing these.
Yeah, they're still making a few.
Yeah.
I've
never seen something now. I guess there was talk of trying to take away the penny. And one thing I saw, I think we've known for a while that it's more expensive to produce the penny. But I also saw that if we got rid of the penny, that the cost to make a nickel is more expensive. Because I guess it's zinc or whatever it's made out of.
Yeah.
That it actually, that it's slightly worse or slightly less worse for us to keep using the penny versus take out the penny and only use nickels. Because you'd have to produce that many more nickels, I guess, basically.
Huh.
And then the cost of the mineral and contents of it.
Yeah.
Could be wrong, but I swear I remember hearing that. They're like, yeah, we all agree that it's more expensive to create the penny. But
we would have to have this many more nickels in circulation to offset the subtraction of pennies, and that would cost us X, which would be more than Y.
I don't know if you'd actually have to create more or not. Well, it would simplify a lot more math. I wouldn't mind it, but I would love it if a few states do it. But I wish we had just like strict, truth in pricing on a tag. Or even where sales tax is added in on the tag.
I'd be okay with that. Problem, I don't know, the incentive in play there puts a lot of burden on the retailer, though. Because either I do a really funky number or I round one way or the other.
Yeah.
And the business motivation is going to be for me to round down. Well, the greed motivation is for me to round up.
Right.
But the business motivation is for me to round down because... there's a reason why 99 cents is on everything instead of just $1.
Exactly.
Like the brain does...
It's cheaper than $1.
Right. It's under $1. Which around here, it makes it $1.08. Right? And so the incentive would be to put it as $1.07 because it's those fractional pennies when you do the math.
Yeah.
It's fractional pennies, and so it's like round up or round down. It's like, well, round up because we want it, but round down because we might sell more.
Yeah.
I mean, there's part I wouldn't like the other part I don't like. For me, the other part it's not like I agree with what you're saying, but it's also not truth in pricing because the price is what you're paying me for it as the retailer. The amount you pay is what you're paying me and the state and the whatever the other taxes and fees are. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes, when you as the retailer, when you've got that price tag on there for whatever, that's what you're charging the customer. And you're like, hey, I'm not charging you that extra, 4%, 5% for sales tax, state sales tax.
9.25% here in Tennessee. That extra money, when you see $10 and you pay $10.90, excuse me, $10.92, that extra 92 cents from what you saw on my sticker, I don't get that money. The state does.
Right.
So, like,
I don't really see that, I guess, appeasing a customer when they come up and buy something. They're like, wait, it says blah, blah, blah.
I think it would be, but
like, buddy, it's a state.
Right.
Like,
but I think,
give a fuck. Like, it says 99 cents, asshole.
Right, but at the same time, I think it's like, but I think, I don't know. I think it's fair. It's fair to have a direct line of the blame on that price difference. Like,
right. But how many people are going to rationalize that? I mean, most people know we pay taxes, but
yeah, but they need to. That's I think maybe that's part of what it was. Is they need to rationalize that, and I think that's part of why I'm getting more comfortable with the idea of adding the processing fee to our system, because people need to realize a huge chunk of why things, not a huge chunk, a significant chunk of why things are getting so expensive is because of all these hidden fees, all the stuff that's stashed in there. Because I have to add that to my margin to offset it. And, you know, again, truth in pricing, if I was going to put a true price in what I have on the shelf or whatever, it'd be even lower than the sticker is now. Because take 3 or 4% off for my credit card fees, I could have my cash price and my credit card price if I'm going to put that on the shelf.
a good way to preempt them before they get up to the register and you got to ask them.
Yeah, I like that. That's one of the things we're debating on. That's how we're going to functionally do it. Like, because the way our system would do it is it would print a check with a cash price and a credit card price.
Yeah. I want to say I've seen that before, but that may have been in like a duty-free shop or something.
I mean, I've my tire shop, my mechanic, for lack of a better word, does it. The state does it when you get your license renewed.
Right.
You know, I mean, when you go to the clerk's office, I got a new. I registered a license plate.
Yeah, I've done mine online. It's like
they
$1,
do it.
$1.50,
Well, they do it twice.
$2.50
If
or
you're doing it online, they do it twice. There's a credit card fee and an online processing fee.
Yeah, maybe I did pay $2 last time I did it.
If you go to the clerk's office, like what's funny to me is if you,
I think even went to the clerk's office and I used my card. I think
you pay a processing.
Pay one of them, I guess. Yeah.
Right. If you buy online, if you pay, like if you renew your license plate online, there's an online processing fee and a credit card processing fee. If you go to the clerk's office to do that same transaction, you just pay a credit card fee. Well, or you can pay cash, and then you don't pay either. So it's like $65 for your plate renewal. If you do it in person in cash, it's $65. If you do it in person with a credit card, it's $67. If you do it online with a credit card, it's $70. Which again, I could get behind that because that's truth in advertising to me. Because it's like I'll pay $5 at convenience and not have to leave my house, go to the clerk's office, grab a number, and wait there for an hour with a bunch of stinky people and all that kind of crap. And it's like, you know, get it done, get in and out of there, and get on with my day because it takes 5 minutes right here in my office instead of a 15-minute drive. I've had 5-minute trips and I've had hour-long trips to do the same thing at the clerk's office. Sometimes you get in and out of there. Sometimes it's running well. There's not a lot of people. Sometimes there's a big fat line. You just do what you.
I usually try to go in mentally prepared, and I try to find off hours.
Right. Yeah. Like you do. I like about 10 a.m. is about the best time, I think, because the people who don't have jobs or don't have day jobs per se, they're kind of all over the map. But the whole set of people that tries to jump in on their lunch break. So that 11 to 1 o'clock window is usually busy because it's people trying to jump in on their lunch break. Up to about 8:30, 9 o'clock is when people are trying to sneak it in before work. And then the late afternoon is when it's people left work a little bit earlier kind of do it. So I've always found like 10 o'clock and like 1:30, 2 o'clock are the best times to be in there.
I think I've done pretty well, like 2 or 3. Yeah, anyway.
See here, we talked about this a little while ago. The rails to trails.
Saw that story.
So the federal government is getting sued. Whatever. I still don't quite. Can't quite figure it out. Because like, what's the argument that you have as the like? It was a generation or 2 or 3, if it's even in the same family, right?
I don't remember that specific.
So because the easement and the eminent domain and all the different stuff that put this rail line in was at best like the 70s, but more likely the 50s or 40s.
Yeah, I can't remember. I thought it mentioned some kind of like timeline of like abandonment, basically, of when the railway were basically like, all right, we're not using this anymore.
Right, but at the end of the day, like there's a process the rail line has to do to abandon.
Right,
and it's not like if they just abandon it physically, but it's still theirs and they just keep it and whatever, it doesn't really matter. They actually have to like go through and file paperwork to officially abandon it. And apparently there's some, this Rails to Trail is a federal bill that went in a decade or so ago where there's a tax incentive for the railroads to abandon lines to the Rails to Trails program so that the Rails to Trails can come in and put a municipal walking trail or whatever in.
Yeah.
And so, but I still don't quite understand the argument from the landowner because I would assume that 9 out of 10 of them aren't the same owner. At best, they're a child or a grandchild of the owner, but more likely than not, they have no relation to it. The house has changed. The property has changed hands a number of times since this went down.
Yeah, so I think it would only apply to if you are a current owner. Because I think they're the only ones that can claim that they're potentially losing out.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. They are the current owner that is there now.
Right.
Well, one, I highly doubt that they bought it not knowing, or they bought it knowing that they had some rights to the train tracks if the train ever changed hands.
I guess it depends on kind of their closing agent. Because I think a lot of the easements and stuff, I think they have to be disclosed, or maybe it's the onus is on the buyer to research if you have any easements or. But
if it's that's one of the real estate things I don't quite understand. Like, so if it's an easement, that means the railroad didn't buy the land from you; they're just using it with permission.
I think that's my general understanding of easements.
And the argument is
like you still own it, but I have a right to still kind of use that part of it,
right?
Without you saying I'm trespassing,
right? And so the argument is that our agreement for you to use that easement was for a train, not for people walking down a path. And since you violate, it should be my land now again because you're no longer running trains on it.
I think that's the basic argument that I'm hearing. Yeah.
But like I was trying to ask that question to Scott. He's like, no, even with an easement, they're paying eminent domain and they're paying for the property. They don't just, they're supposed to pay fair market value at the time or whatever, but they're paying for the property they're on regardless. Whether it's an easement or...
Yeah, maybe that's where it gets kind of
that's what I'm
foggy to where, it was the railroad. They pretty much said, we don't want that anymore. This Rails to Trails puts the easement ownership, I guess, into the federal government. And that's now where the landowners are saying, like, hey, there was a deal before with the railroad. If that's yours now, we're supposed to get paid if this isn't ours anymore.
Right. So again, that's what I don't understand. It's like if you already sold it, you can't get paid again. If it was already paid for, even if it was paid for conditionally, especially if it was paid for conditionally 3, 5, 10 property owners ago, at this point, it seems to me that it is now separated property. Like that should be like there should be a line on the survey that says this is where the railroad's property begins and your property ends.
Yeah, I don't know.
And once that is set in paper, it's then the rails companies to do with what they want. Now, it may be
Onyx says.
It may be right, but it may be a use of. It may be a land use issue. It's that it's a zoning argument. It's like, well, the zoning is for a railroad on this piece of property, and you're trying to take this and use it to a public space, and it's not supposed to be a public space, and that's where the lawsuit comes in. I don't know. I don't understand the lawsuit part of it.
Yeah,
I'm all for people taking money from the federal government. I'm good with that. Get you some. If it's technically owed to you, take it. I'm good with that. I just don't quite understand it, and so that's where I'm a little bit lost.
I mean, land is valuable.
Yeah. Oh, we skipped that one.
Especially flat land that railroads are on.
Been downtown yet? Check out the new Cradle of Country Music park
No,
sculpture.
I saw a little picture of it. I saw that they finished it last week, or
it's open
had the grand opening.
They didn't do anything. They just took the fences down.
Hey, we're done. You guys can come look at it now.
I mean, it feels to me like the I think it started at the end of the Ruggiero admin, like the whole process and the contract did. And so, like, I kind of feel like the Kincannon administration is just like, we caught a bunch of heat for the tail end of actually putting this thing in. So we're just going to let it open and move on. We're not going to make a big stink about it. I don't know. Like, I drove by it. I haven't been in it yet, but I drove by it, and Backroom Knox did a little thing on it. I mean, is it? Does my gut reaction say it's a waste of money? Yes. Like $1.6 million or whatever they paid this guy to do this thing, right, and install it and all that kind of stuff. I don't know. It's art. Value is subjective.
Is there much else at the park?
No.
Okay.
I mean, it took everything else out that was the park.
Yeah. They wanted to take more trees.
But it was like
bitches.
But it was that cheap like treble clef thing. It was like a plexiglass like treble clef that was like painted to look like bronze, but it was plastic.
I can still kind of picture it.
Yeah, it was just a very like script,
kind of like greenish. I think
it was like a brownish. Like I thought it was like a brownish bronze. Like it kind of looked like it was bronze to me, but apparently it was fiberglass. And it is kind of weird that the park is still a Cradle of Country Music Park, and there's nothing about this art piece that says country music.
It is if you close your eyes and imagine
or music at all. Like honestly, I think Scott's description was pretty good today. Is like it looks like a very artistic, like a picnic area at a regular county park. Like what do you call it? Like where you have a couple picnic tables and it's the covered parts of the park.
Yeah, a little gazebo or something.
Yeah, like it looks like a very artsy gazebo. Like you could put a couple picnic tables under there, bring your 5-year-old for his 5th birthday party, gather the family there, and reserve the space for your birthday party. Have one of those little grills that they do in the parks, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah,
bring your own charcoal.
Right, but this kind of looks like one of those. Like a very artsy version of one of those, which is not, I mean, it's not a bad thing.
If it brings people to the park, gets people out.
I just think
well, that's what I was kind of wondering, like what kind of space there is. Are there a bunch of benches or grass area or anything?
No, like it's just like it's weird. It's just a weird spot in that stretch because it's Gay Street and Summit Hill, right?
Right. And
I guess like old school, way back in the day, it was the only it's like the O.P. Jenkins the original O.P. Jenkins is down there, and they're still down there now. It's the only place in downtown Knoxville that has street front parking in front of the buildings. And so what I think over time is that O.P. Jenkins still has its street front, but the one that was on the corner proper either stopped using the street front parking. I think maybe they had a weird wide turn thing going on in there. Like I think it was just a weird little dead spot. Maybe there was a building there that came down at some point, but it was the piece of property is odd shaped. It would be weird to put something else in there.
Yeah,
as far as a building goes. And so at some point the city took that piece of land and they put a cheap sculpture on it and like, it's Cradle Country Music Park.
Yeah, it's a funky shape on a grade.
Yeah. And it's buried in between, like the Sturkey lofts there and that whole set of buildings, which the short one in that set's like 6 stories. And then across on Gay Street, on the Gay Street side, it's like a 4-story building. But it'd be a weird spot. Like it's just it's not a big enough spot to do an apartment or a real good building in. So it's just a weird dead spot.
Yeah.
And so like, I don't know what else to do with that spot, but whatever. Like, I don't know. Again, is it a waste of money? Yes. But is it a waste of money that is one of the things that municipalities do? Yes.
True.
Like, what else are we supposed to do with it? Like, could we spend $1.6 million on something better? Yes. But I can make that argument about almost every dollar the city spends. Like, they spend $160 million on a baseball stadium. Is it a waste of money? It's arguable.
We'll see.
Could I make the argument that we could have spent it on something else? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Could we build a new Civic with it? Yeah. See, bringing it back around. See, we could have spent $160 million on a new Civic, and I think it would have been more valuable than that baseball stadium.
There's something interesting. Apparently, Nashville Soccer Stadium, I want to say it's the largest capacity soccer stadium in the U.S.
That blows my mind that they even have that. Like, that just blows my mind.
What?
That it's a standalone stadium.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think a few have it. I think Columbus has a standalone stadium, but it's not that big. I've driven by it a bunch.
Because they don't have
a football team.
Right.
Outside of, I don't know why they wouldn't play in the shoe.
They could play in the shoe. I don't know why. I mean, it's perfectly reasonable for them to play in the shoe.
Yeah.
The Ohio State has been more like what UT is becoming over the years, as far as an integrated piece of
The city, yeah.
And their facilities host multiple big events. We went up and saw Radiohead at Schottenheim.
Is that the name of it?
Yeah. Schottenheim Center. I apparently I got on the email list. I get emails from her as well.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, Bert Kreischer played there. So I got an email. Bert, tickets to Bert. Oh, when we were there, Rogan was on his way there. I remember seeing posters in the concourse that Rogan was coming.
I don't remember that.
That was when Rogan. I'm pretty sure that was then. Anyway, but I could and for Columbus, I could see them using the shoe because that's not abnormal for that thing.
Yeah.
Because I would love to, if we're gonna have Neyland Stadium, let's use it for some stuff. Let's have some stuff going on in there. Which actually I say that there is an event this weekend, and I think it's free.
At Neyland?
Yeah, Orange and White game.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Nico didn't show up for practice today. Everybody's freaking out.
I thought I saw something. I guess they've got some of the seating under construction. I thought I saw something about seats being limited for the
last year. Last year they did limited capacity. They don't do a full 100,000 or whatever for Orange and White anyway. But they did. Last year was limited for some construction stuff. I don't know if it's again this year. I mean, they're always doing something, so I'm sure that there's some construction and remodeling going on in that building right now.
True.
But going back to the it's opening week, Tuesday, 4 days from now. Baseball is back in the city of Knoxville. For any of our downtown friends that are listening, come down to the E-Vape Lounge in Happy Holler on 1207 Central and get some CBD treats for your dog because fireworks are going to be all week long. And they're late fireworks too. First pitch is at 7.
Huh.
Opening night, first pitch is at 7:05. And so it's going to be home opener, brand new stadium. They're going to be doing a bunch of stuff.
2 or 3 hour.
It's going to be at least a 3-hour long game. So you're looking at 10:30. It's going to be a short fireworks show, but it's going to be a fireworks show.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I might go down to the Holler on Tuesday night. I'm actually going to be there anyway. Ooh, I might just stay a little later than I was planning on. I might go down and see if we can see the fireworks from the Holler.
Yeah, I saw the city. I think they're doing it either tomorrow or sometime over the weekend, but they're doing a practice parking kind of simulation in preparation for opening night.
They can't do it tomorrow. Rossini's tomorrow.
Right. Maybe it's kind of over the weekend.
For people that are actually cool and don't want to go to some weird Italian thing, go down to Schultzbrow. Schultzbrow's got their night battle weekend. All weekend long they're doing the
jousting and stuff.
Written fest or something like that is what it's called. Not jousting, but they have full knights in shining armor kind of shit, and they beat the fuck out of each other.
Oh, they're a little kind of wooden octagon.
Yeah.
You want hardcore? Damn.
Yeah. So that's all weekend.
I guess jousting, you need a hell of a lot more room for that.
Yeah, that's all weekend. Rossini's going on this weekend, and it's a busy calendar. It's a busy calendar weekend. Like I said, it was originally when we first started planning Hollowroo for this year, this was the weekend I'd picked.
Right.
And I the city says I didn't turn in my application. I think I did. But I think instead of being hey, we got all this other stuff and we can't approve you for this weekend, they just said they didn't get it. Maybe. Which either way, fine.
Right.
And as of this minute right now, it's a happy accident because the weather's supposed to suck this weekend. I'm not ready, obviously, but I'm a month out from my actual event, so I've got another month to finish getting ready. I would have been ready if it was tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I'm happy. Although May 17th is UT graduation that we're running up against. So I do have a couple of people that are unavailable because they have kids graduating or they're graduating.
Oh, gotcha.
I got a fraternity that's trying to get in on it that wants to do a car.
I was about to say, that could be a bit of a bonus.
Well, graduation starts at 5, and so they think they can come down and run the Derby, get cleaned up. I was like, just run the Derby in your Cossack and, what's it called?
Cap?
Mortar cap? Mortarboard? Mortarboard.
There's a proper name for it.
Yeah, it's they call it a mortarboard.
I thought it said cap and gown.
Yeah. Run the race in your cap and gown.
I want to put a little chin strap on the cap.
Mortarboard, cap and gown, and tassel.
Mortar board?
Yeah.
Like brick and mortar?
Yeah.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. Mortar board.
I guess that kind of makes sense, because I think that's what a
Square-
mortar board is. It's like that square that you hold
Yeah.
when you're mixing up mortar. Yeah.
The square academic graduate cap mortar board, because of its similarity in appearance to a mortar board used by brick masons to hold mortar.
The more you know.
Yeah, indeed. So the other fun little rumor that I know, little birdies tell me things, is Smokies at large are struggling to get the last little bits and bobs together to be ready to open this week.
Really? As far as...
Yeah, well, apparently there was part of the plan is they're going to repave all that parking underneath the bridge there, because it floods real bad in there, and it still does, and it's supposed to rain this weekend and next week, so a bunch of people are going to be down there, and it's going to be real wet. And like the lines, like the parking down there is wonky because it just like they're trying to fit it all in that. It just doesn't, like the parking under there. It's going to be a mess.
Yeah.
Be prepared to deal with
Maybe that's
the
what
mess.
they're doing. Maybe they're practicing, like, maybe they got like 200 volunteers, and they're like, hey, come bring it in, and we're going to have like 3 people that are going to try to direct everybody in like parking.
Right.
We're going to practice trying to park a whole bunch of cars under here.
I mean, if I'd be happy to be a helper of that. Yeah. Just to go hang out and do the thing. Like
I did see the mounted patrol is going to be down there for the first game.
Everybody that's everybody that I've talked to that's been in the stadium for one reason or the other says it's amazing inside.
Really?
Scott was talking about. Scott was talking about. I don't know if he said he talked to him or not, but the actual designer of the building, is apparently like renowned for making it every single seat is a good seat. Like that's his shtick.
Right.
Like he's got it so well designed. There's no, like the pitch that the bleachers are set at are not too tall that it's steep and uncomfortable, but not too flat that you're looking at heads and stuff in front of you.
Right.
And then like everything's like, but then everything's real nice. Like all the little like all the concourses are real nice. The VIP zones and stuff like that are super nice. I'm going to try to make an occasion to get down there. I'm going to try to go down there on like a travel week when they're out of town, because it's supposed to be open to the public. You're supposed to be able to go inside.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Like all the concessions and stuff lock on their own. They have doors for the access or whatever, and
right.
They lock up. But you can walk the concourse and go out there and walk around in the stands. And
it's not on the field.
You can't get on the field proper, I don't think. But you can be down there and look
jump.
around and check out. I really want, like I was joking with Scott today, I want to go down there. I'd like to go down there and set up a time-lapse camera for when they switch over the first first home game for the soccer team is like the 26th, I think.
Not sure.
It's 12th, 23rd, 24th, somewhere in there. And so there's the whole process of switching that field over into the soccer format. I'd kind of like to see how that goes. Like, have you ever watched videos of like them doing stadiums? Like
I watched a few of doing like the NHL stadium. They'll take like a football stadium and they roll out the whatever kind of mat,
right? For like Winter Classic or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm talking about
Winter
like,
Classic, just any stadium series.
Go to like Google like United Center conversions. United Center in Chicago, so the Bulls play there, the Blackhawks play there, and then they do a bunch of concerts and stuff in there.
I think I've probably seen one of like Bridgestone getting turned around.
Right, they're really cool. It's really cool videos to watch, especially when they're flipping over from. There's one where it's like they do like I think it's a 72-hour time lapse that they do, and it's literally it starts with the basketball game ending, and like you're watching the fans clear out from this basketball game. They pick up the basketball floor, they take the hoops out. They peel everything up, and the ice is underneath there anyway. Mm-hmm. And then they reset up the boards, do all that thing, and then like all that stuff. And then the hockey, like because apparently one of the rules in hockey is the visitor has to have ice time on the rink that they will be playing on before noon, the day of the game, or like before 5 hours before puck drop or whatever, something like that.
Right.
There's a rule that the visiting team is allowed to get on that ice, feel the ice out, do a practice on that ice. The day of the game somewhere like so it's a big deal trying to get back to hockey when there's a hockey game that day because they have to get it done way early.
Yeah, I saw it mentioned in Preds played in Utah last night. I think that was their first time playing in that arena.
Yeah,
since it's a brand new team that just moved there.
Yeah,
but they were talking about having to learn about the different bounces off the board.
Yeah, and so so it's like this 72-hour video. So it ends with the basketball game, gets turned over, hockey game gets turned over, concert. And then gets turned over again, and the video ends with the next basketball game starting. And so it was 2 home games for the Bulls that were 2 days apart, or 3 days apart, and 2 events happened in between those 2 that they completely redo the room for. Really neat videos to watch. I'd love to see that for this stadium.
I'm trying to remember. There was what talked about recently that was like an advertisement for turning over. Was it like... I think it was Tampa Bay, but I guess maybe it was like spring training. They were talking about the Tampa Bay Stadium and how they had to redo it to allow the Yankees, because I guess we're coming in for like doing spring training at that same stadium. And I saw that. Well,
Tampa had a bunch of issues with that hurricane, so that might have been part of it.
I don't know why exactly.
So where the Rays play pro ball, the Yankees do spring
training?
I
guess they were coming in to do spring training there, or some kind of. I don't think it was like an exhibition game, because they made it sound like they kind of turned it over specifically just for them.
Huh.
I'd have to relook at the story again, but
yeah,
I'm assuming it's still spring training because I don't think the regular season started. Not that I give a shit about baseball.
It has started.
Okay.
Because the stupid torpedo bats are ruining baseball.
Oh, that's right. We talked about that. Yeah.
But so the little birdies and rumors that I hear from the different people that I know about the stadium and stuff like that is that they're going to get off. They're going to be open. Their home opener is on Tuesday, but they're struggling to get everything in front of them.
How smooth it's going to be.
Right. I think they'll do okay. I think parking's going to be a mess. Deal with it. Whatever. I think the stadium is going to be okay. I think there's going to be parts and pieces that aren't perfect. But like they've put no energy into anything except baseball. So like they have not hired a talent buyer, which I think is a funny phrase.
They haven't what?
They haven't hired a talent buyer.
Talent buyer.
That's a real word,
right?
And that's the first I heard it was this week, and from my friend who is a talent buyer, who they have talked to about the job, and he's decided he doesn't want to do it, but. They put no energy and effort. Because one of the things I was asking was like when they were talking to you about it, like, did they give you the format? What's the format going to be for when they do a concert there? I think we talked about this last week.
Yeah.
Are they going to do a stage out in center field? So they got the scoreboard behind them, so they can use the scoreboard as part of the production, or are they going to put it at home plate? And he doesn't know the answer to that anyway. But they don't have a talent buyer, which is Again, I don't know how to do that, but I'll give it a shot if you guys want to give me a call. almostinagreement@gmail.com. But
I just found you were right. I guess the Tampa Bay Rays Stadium was messed up, so I guess they did spring training in George Steinbrenner Field. So I guess they had 120 hours to switch it back over.
Huh.
Yeah, Rays get 120 hours to make the Yankees Spring Stadium their own. Here's how they'll do it.
Oh,
so I guess maybe they got to rent it out for 120 hours.
What's happening is that the facility that the Yankees go to for spring training got converted to the new home field for Tampa baseball. That's what that's saying. It's not right. It's that spring training ended, the Yankees left, and Tampa moved in to be the home team. Because Tropicana, I think it's Tropicana Park.
Yeah.
Tropicana Park got messed up, and so they don't have a home ball field, and so they're using the Yankees spring facility for their home field until the Tropicana can get repaired.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting though. I bet you, because they're going to change all the signage and stuff like that. Because the Yankees own it, I assume.
Yeah,
so it's got all It's got all Yankees crap. It's all that stupid New York Yankees logo.
It's all just black and white everywhere.
Right. Well, no, it's navy. It's dark blue.
Is the Yankees navy blue?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's blue.
Huh. I guess I always just thought it was kind of black.
Son of a bitch! I'm gonna have to look that shit up.
I mean, navy's so damn dark. It is probably like dark navy.
I'm pretty sure it's navy.
Deep navy. New York Navy.
New
York strong navy.
Navy, gray, white.
Huh.
Anyway, that totally makes sense. And so, but I'll reference my input on Scott's show today. It's like joking about was that a worthwhile public expenditure to build the stadium? I know you don't like it. I know you feel like it's not. If they are not really, really, really going after doing other stuff there, then I'm gonna have to agree with you and start pitching a fit about it.
Right.
Like, okay. I mean, the timeline that they wanted to push out to get the opening day to be this week was an aggressive timeline. Give them a little leeway. Like, to me, if they'd done it right this weekend, there would be a concert there. The first event there would be a big blowout concert.
Not a bad idea.
This big blowout concert showing off the goods. This is what we do. This is going to be the best asset that the city of Knoxville has ever invested in. We're going to have all sorts of cool stuff here, and not just baseball, but a big lead-in blowout event that started today and stuff going on every day, and then opening day on Tuesday, home stretch through the week. After like the day game, I think the Saturday's a day game, and then after that Saturday day game, clean it up, break it down, and do another concert next Saturday, and just like big concert like Snoop Dogg,
Snoop Lion. No, he's back to Snoop Dogg again. Sorry,
Snoop Dogg. We're not doing reggae, we're doing rap.
Right.
But like a big Snoop show, like just like but that would have been the game, but to have been able to do that, that would have had to been in the books. To get to get to the level of artist that's going to sell out. It's probably a 10,000 seater. I think when you put it in to concert format, because I think it's 7,500 seats for baseball at capacity. Mm-hmm. So 7,500 capacity, fit 2,500 people on the field. I think so.
I think so. It's hard to picture large crowds and figure out how many people is that.
Right, but pretty close to. I mean, right. Give or take a handful, but like 10,000. And so what artist can do 10,000? That can't do 25,000. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the stretch there.
Right.
Like somebody that's going to play an outdoor show, because a lot of bands hate playing outside. A lot of musicians hate performing outside. Right. So somebody that's going to do an outside show at a smaller venue that could probably do Thompson. It's somebody that can probably do Thompson. So it's going to have to be something that they set it up in a way that it makes it doable in that format. It's a hard format to fill, and I think that's why my buddy passed on the Talent Buyer job. Because it's got to be names.
Yeah.
Like, it's got to be. And I think you and I are hitting the target, though. Like, I think I could do it only because I think our nostalgia is where the money is. Like, I would try to book the Pumpkins. I would try to book Snoop Dogg. It would be 90s and early aughts. That would be the target. I think that would be the demographic that would sell there.
I can't say I've got my ear to the ground on the music scene to figure out
I just see that's not,
what the kids are going to show up for.
But see, that's just it. You don't want the kids because the kids aren't going to pay the ticket price. You want the adults.
I mean, a lot of kids have some kind of disposable cash app. I mean, they're the ones taking out all this credit card debt.
Right, which we don't care about their debt, but I'm just saying, like, I think the money, I think...
You still got paid, did you? You still got tickets bought.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I don't care about that if I'm the organizer of these events, but I'm just saying, like, I think that's the target. Like that. I think that's the easiest way because it's a more respectful crowd. Because it's a brand new facility, you don't want to get it fucked up. You don't want to do like a Kid Rock concert. Kid Rock would fit my description, but but I'm just saying, like, who could, like, that's the problem. I think that's the problem with music right now. I think maybe to transition this out of the particular conversation of baseball, I think it's a problem in music right now.
Well, I mean, I think some of the issues have been, the big pushback on Ticketmaster and ticket prices for years as far as, what the bands are going to get and their percentage cuts. Where a lot of bands are like, I don't know if it's worth me going and touring because I'm not making that much money and it's taking up, 6 months of my year. Yeah,
there's a lot, but there's also so much music out.
Right.
There's so many.
It's either just release and put out.
Right. But there's so much music out. It's like, like, I don't know, like, I'm trying to think of some of the shit my kids listen to. Like I told this story today when I was talking to a couple of friends of mine. It's like, last concert I went to, I'm not sure which one was first. Me and the missus went to Ben Folds at Tennessee Theater. Mm-hmm. It was Ben Folds and a piano. That was it. At Tennessee. I had some great seats. We were the second row out of the pit. So there was pit seating, which was like 4 rows. And then there was that wall. And then we were second row on stage on the left side. So we weren't looking through the piano at him. We were looking at like his side.
Right. Somehow I got first row center pit. I don't know how. My ex got that ticket years ago. But
for what?
That was Medeski, Martin, and Wood.
Yeah, we got, when I saw Pumpkins there, I was in that same seat.
Yeah.
Front
I was
row.
like, oh, shit. It's almost too close, but it was
Second
still
row,
like...
right. We were second row center
Yeah.
pit. Great seats. I got a pic from that somewhere. I need to get that out here. It should be in the room right now.
Nice. I remember you telling me about that.
I got spit on. Billy Corgan spit on me, and I was not excited about it. Like, yeah, that's not really, that doesn't really do it for me. But anyway, what was I saying about? Oh, like, but there's so much like when you get into the pop, like in the pop sphere, like there is Taylor Swift, and then what? Like, there's such a gap. You have Taylor Swift, who does 3 nights at Nissan Stadium, sells them all out, and people are killing themselves trying to figure out how to buy tickets, buying aftermarket tickets for thousands of dollars of tickets to sit up at the top of Nissan Stadium to see Taylor Swift. But then after that, you have 10 million artists that are known, but who couldn't sell out Bijou.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's that. I think that's it's. I hesitate to say it's an industry issue. It's just an issue inside music right now. The great liberation. Not to make a tariff joke or anything, but the liberation of music and the way that internet has influenced, the way that internet and technology has influenced the ability for people to produce and distribute their own music,
Right.
has been amazing. There are people that are putting music out, and there are people that are finding music from people that, in our era, in the 90s, no chance. No chance some of these people would ever get the light of day. Well, the other last concert I went to, which I'm not sure which one it is, I saw this kid, Boy with Uke, took my youngest down to Atlanta at Variety. It was a fun time. The last time I went to Variety before that was when we saw Remy Zero, which is a weird offshoot band of that era. But... it's like there's no middle ground in music anymore. There's either dirt bottom, there's maybe like some level of internet fame, but internet fame is weird. And then there's massive. And that's it.
Yeah.
Like Ben Folds to me, like Ben Folds is a nostalgia artist. That's how Ben Folds can fill Tennessee Theater. You're not going around Tennessee Theater for Ben Folds and his piano show seeing anybody under 30.
Yeah.
They're just not going to see it.
Right.
Because anybody under 30 at this point sucks anyway. So, screw those guys. But I'm just saying, like, it just doesn't exist anymore. And that's, I don't know. Like, I think that was my friend's description on why he passed on the job. He's like, it's impossible. Like, what am I supposed to do? Who am I going to book there? Anybody who could sell enough tickets to make it worth doing can sell enough tickets to go to Thompson and make real money.
Yeah.
So the only way that it's going to work, and this is a Boyd issue when you get down to the brass tacks of it. The only way it's going to work is that if Boyd and the baseball or Boyd Sports figure out a way to break even on paying the band or the artist to come, and they're making money somewhere else. It's going to have to be a sponsorship game where it's like Snoop Dogg presented by Pilot Flying J.
Right.
And Pilot Flying J is putting up the money to market at the event, and that pays Snoop Dogg's fee for the event, and then ticket sales get split and all that kind of stuff. Like, that's the only way it's going to happen. It's going to have to be a heavily sponsored event, which people kind of don't like.
Yeah.
Both artists and consumer don't like that.
Right. I think kind of an oddity of the music industry, like you were saying, with kind of the growth of the internet. I think for me, every once in a while, I'll just watch a couple. I remember during the pandemic, Radiohead was doing, it was like once every other week or so, would put out it was full like production value concert videos of like a full concert.
Yeah.
To where, you can get online and literally watch concerts and have great sound, great view, all from sitting on your couch.
Yeah. It's a problem, but it's not to say.
I've seen even bands do that as well. A number of bands that I used to like don't really follow as much anymore. They partnered up with, different kind of streaming companies to where you can stream concerts from home.
I tried the other day. When we first got the Oculus, there was a Dave Matthews Band thing. No, it's Foo Fighters. It's supposed to be a Foo Fighters concert on the Oculus. I couldn't figure out. I'm full on boomered that shit. I couldn't figure out how to get there. But I was curious to try that. I haven't tried that yet. But there are great concert movies. Don't get me wrong. Right. There are great concert movies. I've watched Muse at Wembley like 15 times. Great concert movie. I've never seen Muse live, so it's a bad comparison. But I believe no, we did. We saw they opened for Radiohead once, didn't they?
No,
not one of the ones we went to.
Anyway. I saw them open up for it was them, Foo Fighters, and Chili Peppers.
Chili Peppers, yeah. You told me about that. Anyway, but I've seen a bunch of Radiohead shows on like we've seen a bunch of Radiohead shows in the flesh, but then I've seen a bunch of like good quality professional Radiohead concerts. Oh, it's not the same. It's just not.
It's not the same, but I can appreciate parts because I do like the different camera angles. You can actually see them.
But there's something
better.
Different about being stuck. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Being stuck?
Being stuck.
Being like in the moment at the concert.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
I mean, look, at the end of the day, if it's on a DVD or whatever it is, I can pause that shit and go piss.
Right.
But like we're right in the middle of the jamming ass song and I'm loving the I got to pee. I don't care. I can pee. I don't care. I'm focused. Yeah. The need to pee gets washed by whatever's going on in front of me. Like, okay, the best perfect one ever is that when we saw, I think it was the first Radiohead show that my mom didn't want me to let me go on because you were a stoner and you're going to badly influence me and get me to smoke marijuana. When we saw him at Stone Mountain. Mm-hmm. So go down to Stone Mountain, Georgia, see Radiohead. First time I saw Radiohead in concert. And in the first encore, was the first encore or was this the original closer? They played Paranoid Android. And when it gets to the bridge and it starts singing Rain Down on Me, it started raining.
I think that was a different concert, though.
Whatever. Whichever time it was.
It was in Atlanta, but I think that was like...
Was it Hi-Fi Buys?
Yeah, I think it was Hi-Fi Buys.
It doesn't matter.
Right.
Like, you're never going to get that, like, that...
Oh, absolutely.
Like, and I was sober as could be. Like, I still don't smoke to this day. I didn't drink like I drank for a while and don't drink anymore. But, like, I wasn't drunk. Couldn't afford to buy beer at a concert. It wasn't about my want to or not want to drink and get drunk. It was I couldn't afford to get drunk. It took everything we had to buy the tickets and then drive to whatever and get gas and get back in the car kind of stuff. So there was no money for that. It was just I'm here to see the show. There's no possibility that I could ever watch a video to match that experience.
I agree.
And that's missing. I mean, that's just missing. Like I think that maybe it's a lack of trying or whatever, but that's just not there. Like, that's not I don't know. That's a bummer. It makes me sad. All right, you got stuff to do. You want to get out of here. Let's get weird. Did I miss something?
Local news?
Hold on. Let me consult my list real quick. Oh, no. Well, this one's not necessarily important.
What you got?
No, we talked about the baseball series and stuff like that. I texted you about it. It's a couple weeks old. It was something I meant to talk about last week and forgot.
Yeah.
Where is it on here? Where you at?
Did you got to pull it up to remember it?
Yeah.
23andMe?
Yeah, the 23andMe thing. Yeah, we can save that till later.
Declare bankruptcy.
Yeah, we can save that till later.
I don't think there's really much to talk on it. But.
I mean, there's a lot to talk about. That's fucking crazy.
I don't think it's unsurprising, I guess.
I don't think it's unsurprising either, but I think that's let me brag on my wife's brilliance. I had an inkling for a minute to get on to one of them and do it because I had a curiosity or whatever. She's like, nah, you don't want to do that. I was like, all right, you're right.
Yeah.
And I'm super glad. Because I call shenanigans. You ain't deleting shit. You can go in there and you can ask for your delete and you can do whatever process it is to delete your data. They don't give a fuck.
Database is stored. Because I know there's one of them that'll actually, I think you have to opt into it, but it'll actually tell you if you want to be, or you can, I guess, check if you want to get connected to like third and fourth cousins, etc.
I don't know. Whatever it is. You can't, you will not convince me for a half a second that if I had a 23andMe account right now and I logged in and I did whatever process it is was to delete my data, that they're actually going to delete my data.
Right.
That's the only thing they have of value and they're going bankrupt. They have to protect their values. They have to protect their assets at all costs right now. And that up to and including scamming your ass. So anybody that did to 23andMe, it's your own fault. You should have seen this coming. I'm sure there was a sci-fi movie or two about this. You're welcome. Public service announcement.
Well, something else that it crazy they declared bankruptcy. I'm blanking on who it was.
Apparently, Five Below has canceled all their orders.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm not surprising.
they can't.
Have
They
one
can't
guess
afford
where they
Terra.
got most of their shit from.
Yeah. Anyway, get weird. We'll be back on the 23andMe story next week.
Oh, shit. Yeah, crazy sad story, I guess.
Hey, nope. You better have a. You better.
Well,
have
not really. I guess
funny,
not really sad.
You better have a funny or something to finish it off, because don't end this with a sad story. I can't handle that.
All right, let's just not even do that one now. Got a man loses bid to cash in $59,000.
Stop! You can't do that to me. Give me the sad story. Come back to the.
Sad. It's just kind of crazy. Foster mom is charged with abuse as authorities investigate whether a girl was traded for a monkey.
I mean, the monkey was probably a better kid. I don't blame her. See, I can make it funny. I can.
Let's see here. 7-year-old woman was jailed on a $250,000 bond since her arrest over the weekend. Let's see here. She's been charged with child abuse and endangerment as authorities investigate whether she traded an adoptive daughter to someone in Texas for a monkey and mistreated other children in her care.
I want to know the other side of it. Like, I don't care about, like, the lady that traded the kid fucked up. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to defend her by any stretch here.
Right, who was like, well, I got a monkey, I gave you 4.
That's what I right. You know, like that's a very important part of the story here that was completely glossed over. Like,
everyone was like, well, maybe the monkey doesn't cry.
You got a monkey that you breed monkeys, whatever. Good, great business, whatever. Fine. You know, you take payment for said monkeys. I can't pay you cash. Can I pay you in child?
Well, I'm all out of cash, but I got some extra monkeys laying around.
You said yes to that? That's, yeah. Anyway. All right. Yeah. Well, that wasn't as sad. Okay. Good deal. Anyway.
I know it's sad. I guess I meant to say, like, kind of disturbing.
I mean, it's kind of disturbing. Yeah. It's sad.
Yeah.
I want to know this poor girl.
Yeah. Got,
my real parents didn't mow me, and then some crazy lady wanted me so she could trade me for a fucking monkey.
Got bodega cats make New Yorkers' hearts purr, even if they violate state regulations.
I can't. I mean, I already know where this is at. There's a cat that lives in the bodega. It's against the health department or whatever. But all the regulars that
officially state law bars most animals from stores that sell food.
Well, y'all ruin that with your goddamn dogs anyway. So deal with the cat in the bodega. Shut up. Suck it, New York. Your health department is invalid.
I guess there was a petition online that advocated for bodega cat owners from fines, racking up more than 10,000 signatures. That was another bill that I think is floating through the state.
It's a fucking service animal. What are we talking about here?
Do what?
It's a service animal. You can't say. You can't ask.
Yeah, you have to get it registered. I don't know if you have to show proof of.
Well, in Tennessee, at least, you don't have to do anything. You just have to say it and
just buy them with those special collar jackets.
Any conversation past that, you can just claim HIPAA and they can't do anything.
Yeah, I guess so.
Which I think HIPAA's federal. So yeah, you could. What are we doing here? HIPAA. Just scream HIPAA at the cops. See what they say.
I'm not sure if like a state inspector or whatever came in. I think they have a right to, I guess, show proof that you are being cleanly in your place that you sell food. I don't know. Obviously, it sounds like there's some kind of legitimate state law.
Don't get me wrong. I like dogs, but when I go out in public, I don't necessarily want to have to deal with a dog.
I love dogs.
I'm at a restaurant,
it annoys me, and I have to bite my tongue when I see it more often like Home Depot.
I know
it's a big wide open spot, but I'm like, what do you need to bring your dog into Home Depot?
I like the grocery store is the one that drives me the worst.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, restaurants bad. I don't go out to restaurants much, which is why probably more why I don't complain about restaurants is because I don't go and sit down and eat much anymore. Right. But like the grocery store is the one that drives me nuts.
Yeah,
I see some lady with a fucking chihuahua in her fucking shopping cart, and it's like, you know what? Fine, it's a chihuahua. It's in the cart. It can't really do anything. It's inside the cart. But then I think, I have a friend who's allergic to dogs.
Right, that's my thing.
What happens when he comes in,
right,
and happens to accidentally get the shopping cart that your dog spent the last hour in? When he comes in.
Right.
And all of a sudden his hands and his arms are itching and he can't figure out why. Oh, because you decided your fucking dog needed to come with you to the goddamn grocery store.
You should have wiped it off. There's complimentary wipes at every entrance.
I should be able to expect to not have to deal with a dog allergy in a grocery store.
Right. That's my biggest sticking point.
Like, you go to the pet store?
I try to be considerate of others,
Okay.
and I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of people that are allergic to cats and dogs.
All right, you go to the pet store and there's dogs and cats around? Okay, I can get on board with that.
It's expected.
The pet grocery store.
Right.
It's for pets, and pets are in there. And if I had a dog allergy and I went into the pet store and got pissed off because my dog allergy flared up, I'm the idiot, not you.
Walk into a pet store
Exactly.
that, probably once a week has like a puppy sale.
Right. They have cats there at least. They don't sell dogs. Most of them have cats. But
They every once in a while will do dogs, but it's usually with conjunction with like one of the local shelters.
hell, most of the pet stores I have a goddamn groomer in the front of the building. I mean, whatever. You can't claim, like if you are allergic to dogs and you go into a pet store, you can't get pissed off.
Right.
If you're allergic to dogs and you go in the grocery store, you have a right to get fucking pissed off.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they sell dog food. Fine.
They don't sell dogs.
Right. I don't know. Drives me nuts. You got any more? One more weird?
Let's see what we got.
I feel like we cut that one off with other stuff.
Or I don't think there's much more to it.
We were trading for.
Oh no, I started to say. I guess in the state house that they were. It sounds like they're trying to pre-set up any kind of, if there's any kind of like petition that goes around that tries to go against state law, and it even kind of mentions of like municipalities that have home rule. That basically, if there was like a citizens initiative or whatever.
It's First Amendment. Fuck off.
Well, I think it said that it was
We have the
pretty
right
much
to peaceably
prohibiting
assemble.
any kind of, I guess, proposing a state law that would violate state law, or maybe it was more of municipalities passing ordinances and whatnot.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, any municipality is under the jurisdiction of the state of Tennessee, so they cannot pass a law that violates state law.
Right.
So the idea of a sanctuary city, which is probably what this is targeted at, City of Knoxville. Now, Kincaid can, as an initiative, say that we're not going to prosecute people without the proper identification to be residents of the city.
I never read it. I thought it kind of was getting into the area of kind of like voter initiated kind of procedure.
I don't know. I would love to.
Which I don't think we had much of anyway. But
We don't. I mean, you can, but you can't. Like procedurally,
it's just
no.
like a poll. It's like, oh, cool, you took a poll,
Right.
thanks.
Procedurally, no. There's nothing, as far as I understand it, we could do what we figured out a couple weeks ago, 7 million residents in the state of Tennessee. I could get 5 million signatures of Tennessee residents that I could prove are Tennessee residents that say, we want to pass this law. There is no procedural thing that would force that action. I would have to get a Massey, a Briggs, a Davis, or whatever to write a bill based on the petition that I put together and then introduce it.
Yeah.
And then it would have to go through the process. Now, at the
It's
end
got
of the day,
more weight behind it when you've got that many.
right, at the end of the day, if I got 5 million signatures, it better fucking pass. Because if you don't vote for that and you hold a seat in the state house or state senate, or you're the governor for that matter, and don't do everything you can to get this thing to pass, I would hope that the 5 million people that got to sign this have the attention span to then not vote for you next time you run.
Yeah.
I would hope. The balls that you would have to have as a sitting person who has any desire to keep your seat and vote against that, it would be incredible. Incredible.
Yeah. Not to say some wouldn't do it still.
Oh yeah, I guarantee you. I
don't care. Try to recall me.
Right.
Good luck. Because you can't do it.
Or who's going to run against me next time? Who's got the balls to run against me?
That's true.
And it's like, I mean, I will. I don't care where you are. I'll move there. I'll set up residency, and I'll run against you. If there was an issue that I could get 5 million signatures of Tennessee residents on and win, I would run for any and every seat possible. Because there's no way I couldn't. Like, you got to be able to win that. Like, I don't know. We're idiots as voters, so I can see it. I mean, that's what scares. I was talking to somebody today about the county mayor's race coming up. Like, the right person, not the right person. The most logical person is not going to win because of party format. If I was going to put a future on it right now, the odds would be. I would if I were going to set the odds, I would set Larson at like a plus 150. I would beg people to bet for Larson because I think if nothing changes from what we know right now, Larson's going to lose that primary, and then whoever the Republican that wins the primary is going to win the seat.
It's a likely possibility.
Right, but the only reason, but I think realistically, the right person for the job. I keep leaning into that, but that's not me. The most logical person, the one that makes the most sense, is Larson as far as current candidates at play. I think he is the most universal into what Knox County is. But he's not going to. He can't win. He might not be able to win a Republican primary because the system sucks.
Could Gloria drop out of her seat and run?
She can run, and if she wins, she doesn't have to drop out of her seat until she wins.
That's true.
She can win a mayor's race in Knoxville.
I don't think
No
so.
way. No way. She might be able to win a city race. She might want to win that city race. Actually, come on, Gloria. Oh, that's a good
I was about
one.
to say, if Democrats in,
Right now,
in the county, she has the biggest kind of name exposure.
But she's 27 for the city mayor. That one, she might want to. That might be. She might want to go after that one.
Maybe.
Because she could win that one. She could absolutely win that seat. And it pays well. And I don't know how. I don't know. If I, as a non-city resident, I can say this: if I were a city resident, I wouldn't vote for Gloria Johnson. Not because I don't like Gloria Johnson, but because I know the state will shit a brick and do like they're already doing it. They'll just lean harder into Knoxville. They've been beating up on Memphis for a while now. You've talked about those. And if Gloria becomes the mayor of the city of Knoxville, all the pissed off state legislatures that have been fighting with her for years will turn all their negative attention to Knoxville.
I could see that as a likely scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, anyway, you asked for an hour and a half. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Love you, buddy. We did a podcast. Sam's got better shit to do than sit here and argue with me about nothing and get drunk. Almost agreement at gmail.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, other website, almost agreement.com, do all the things we got to do. Halloween is upon us. Halloween, May 17th. Sign up today. We've got a couple of spaces left for vendors. We got a couple of we'd like a couple more drivers if you want to run a derby car with us. Looking for a handful more volunteers as well. Or if you just want to come hang out, hollaroo.co is going to get all the information. I'm working on my site map so you know where all the cool stuff's going to be happening, which is everywhere. And we are on your favorite podcast providers, like, friend, share, follow, text us to your friends, social media, all that kind of crap. Do what you can. We're going to keep doing the show. I will do some more interviews sooner than later. But for now, I've got Halloween to deal with, and then I will worry about stuff after that. So thanks for listening, everybody. We'll talk to you guys in a minute. Bye.